The moment he noticed the tiny hand holding a torn, threadbare toy in the middle of a noisy cafe. His world, built on glass towers, silent penthouses, and calculated numbers, paused in a way it never had before, because the child's eyes carried a weight that money had never prepared him to understand. And in that instant, the millionaire realized that some encounters arrive not as coincidences, but as quiet storms meant to break you open. Before the story pulls you deeper, take a moment right now. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the quiet power of compassion, please like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel. Your small action helps stories like this reach hearts that need them most. The cafe was warm and smelled of roasted coffee and rain-soaked wood, a place where conversations blurred into a gentle hum. The man sat alone by the window in a tailored suit that cost more than most people earned in a month, his watch gleaming, his posture perfect, yet his eyes empty. He had built an empire from nothing, survived betrayals, hostile takeovers, and sleepless nights fueled by ambition. Success had taught him discipline, not tenderness. His life was full, yet hollow. He came to this cafe not for comfort, but habit, a place to think, to escape the echoing silence of his penthouse. Outside, rain traced slow paths down the glass, mirroring the unspoken loneliness he never admitted. That was when he saw her. Small, fragile, standing near his table as if courage itself had to push her forward. Her jacket was too thin for the cold, her shoes worn, her hair tied with mismatched clips. In her arms was a stuffed toy, once soft, now sagging with age, its seams torn, one ear barely hanging on. It wasn't just a toy, it was held like something sacred, like the last thread tying her to a safer world. The man noticed how carefully she cradled it, how her fingers trembled as though afraid it might disappear if... She loosened her grip. The cafe continued around them, unaware that something irreversible was about to unfold. He looked at her at first, with mild confusion, then impatience, the reflex of someone used to efficiency and boundaries. Children didn't belong in his carefully controlled universe. But then he saw her eyes, wide, earnest, and burdened with a sadness far older than her years. They weren't asking for money or attention. They were asking for mercy. The girl had been raised too quickly by loss. Her father had once been her entire universe, a man who worked long hours but always came home with stories, laughter, and small gifts that meant everything. That toy had been the last thing he gave her before the sickness took him away, before hospital rooms replaced bedtime stories, before the word forever lost its meaning. Her mother worked double shifts now, exhaustion etched into her face, trying to hold life together with fraying hands. The toy was all the girl had left of him, the last proof that love once filled their tiny home. When the man finally focused fully on her, something shifted inside him. Memories surfaced that he had buried long ago, of his own childhood, of a father who was never present, of growing up believing love had to be earned through achievement. He had sworn never to need anyone, never to be vulnerable. Yet here was a child who had lost everything and still dared to hope. He listened as she explained in simple, broken words, not demanding, only asking, believing that adults could fix things. It wasn't about the toy. It was about the pain stitched into it, about a promise she was afraid to lose. For the first time in years, the man didn't check his watch. He didn't think about meetings or stock prices. He felt something crack inside his chest, a quiet ache he had ignored his whole life. He took the toy gently, noticing how carefully it had been repaired before. Tiny stitches done by unskilled hands, likely her mother's, trying to preserve what mattered most to her child. He realized then that wealth wasn't measured by what you owned, but by what you were willing to protect. He promised, without realizing the weight of that promise, that he would help. What followed was not a simple fix. The man, who could buy companies with a phone call, found himself calling artisans, restorers, people who repaired antiques and heirlooms. He searched not for perfection, but for preservation. Days passed, and in those days, He thought about the girl more than he had thought about himself in years. He wondered if she was okay, if she still believed he would keep his word. He wondered why her courage haunted him so deeply. While the toy was being restored, something else was quietly mending. He began questioning his own life. The empty dinners, the meaningless victories, the absence of warmth. He visited the cafe again and again, hoping to see her, feeling oddly anxious when she wasn't there. He learned patience, something no deal had ever taught him. He learned waiting. When the day finally came, the toy was whole again, not new, but lovingly restored, its scars respected, its history intact. It looked like something that had survived, not something replaced. And when he returned it to her, the joy that filled her face was not loud or dramatic. It was soft, stunned, almost disbelieving. Tears welled in her eyes, and in that moment, the man understood that he had just been trusted with someone's entire world. But the story didn't end there. He didn't walk away and return to his old life. He couldn't. The girl had unknowingly changed him. He began supporting her family quietly, not as charity, but as dignity. Help with education, medical care, stability. He never announced it. He never needed recognition. For the first time, giving felt better than winning. Months passed. The cafe remained the same, but the man was different. He smiled more, he listened, he slowed down. He learned that healing doesn't come from erasing pain, but from honoring it. And the girl, holding her toy close, grew stronger, safer, her laughter returning in small, precious bursts. She still missed her father, but she no longer felt alone in the world. Just before we reach the end, take a moment and comment below. Tell us where you're watching from and what this story reminds you of. Your words matter more than you think. One rainy afternoon, much like the first, the man watched the girl walk away with her mother, the restored toy tucked under her arm. He realized then that some people enter your life for reasons greater than understanding. They don't stay forever, but they leave something behind that changes you permanently. He had spent years chasing legacy, never realizing that legacy is built in moments of kindness no one sees. If this story touched your heart, if it reminded you that compassion still exists in a world that often feels cold, please like this video, share it, and stay connected with the channel. Stories like this live because of you, and as the cafe door closed behind them, the man sat quietly, no longer alone, knowing that while he had fixed a broken toy, a small girl had unknowingly repaired a broken part of his soul, and sometimes that is the greatest miracle of all.